Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of the Lord of the Rings The Card Game Progression Series. My name is Mitch.
And my name is Matthew.
And today, barring catastrophe, we're going to be finishing our coverage of the Khazad-dûm deluxe expansion. This is Flight from Moria. Last time, Matthew and I found that Balin's dwarven colony had been slaughtered and rent into tiny little pieces by plundering, encroaching goblins. But, Matthew, now that we know Balin is no longer with us, where does our story take us today?
Indeed, Balin's colony did end in death and darkness. After paying their respects at his tomb, our heroes fought their way out of the goblin-infested 7th level and made their way down toward the gate. But exiting Moria will not be easy, for a shadowy form masses at the end of the hall, and fear and terror go before it. Our heroes must escape Moria before it's too late.
So, back in the day, this was a quest that a lot of people have been waiting for, us LOTR fans. We are kind of known for enjoying the Balrog, the Nameless Fear, and this is the very first time that we players had an opportunity to encounter such an incredibly powerful, formidable being. Its form in this scenario is the Nameless Fear. We're not going to be fighting it directly, but before I talk about this incredibly unique adversary, something quite unlike anything we've ever seen before, at this point in the game, let's assess our player decks. Last time we played through the 7th level, there were a ton of 2 HP or fewer goblins, and we can kind of expect some similar stuff today. So for that reason, we see Thalin and Gondorian Spearmen once again, not to steal Matthew's thunder there, but instead of sticking with tactics, because there's a lot more than combat going on, I'm once again taking up the mantle of kind of the questing and support deck. I've got my boy Dane Ironfoot, as always, to power up my dwarves and Matthew's. I've got Frodo to help just kind of circumvent some uncancelable treachery damage, Barivor for card draw, Gleowine for card draw, the normal cadre of dwarves that you know and love, like my Orc Slayer to serve as a bit of a board clear, but I've got Rittermark's Finest to get rid of some 2 quest point locations, and then I've got the lovely Ancient Matham Hammersmith combo. Apart from that, it's cancel when revealed, cancel treacheries, decrease threat, all the standard fare you've come to expect from me. Matthew, as if you're playing anything atypical, what do we see from you?
Well, I have a Spirit Tactics combo, got Dwalin, Thalin, and Boromir, so in many ways my deck is going to function similarly to the last video, although of course my Frodo is gone and my Dwalin is subbed in, and I love that hero. I've got a soft spot for him. With that said, my deck is largely the same. Gondorian Spearmen, hoping for some of those combos, which unfortunately means Dwalin won't be, reducing my threat if right. Gondorian Spearman takes care of them, but that's okay. Dwalin's still fun, and I like his art. He's got a cool axe. Got more Eagles, exactly where they belong, here in Moria. And then, a battery of attachments and events. The largest difference to me is, once again, I have a more ally-heavy deck than I did the last quests. And I'm fairly confident that that should be enough to help us escape the Nameless Thing and Moria, but let's find out.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on in this scenario. As you can see, I've kind of written a short story here in the description of these 2 decks, but for anyone looking to maybe replicate these decks, play through this scenario yourself, it would benefit to take a quick glance at this. This scenario does have a rather unique victory condition. We're going to be kind of cycling through a deck of randomly presented quest cards, which is quite unlike anything that we've seen before. We experience treachery cards that are going to be changing the current quest card, and it's all meant to kind of represent some frantic flee, our flight to escape from the Nameless Fear here in Moria. But why don't we go ahead and ensure that our player decks are shuffled? Let us draw our opening 6 cards, and then I'll really dive deep into explaining today's scenario. As much as I was hoping for Miner of the Iron Hills in our previous recently recorded video, I definitely don't like seeing 2 of those in my opening hand, so I'm pretty much going to be taking a mulligan right away. What about you, Matthew?
I think I'll hold on to mine.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Citadel Plate is great once I reveal a kind of special treachery unique to this scenario. We've got our cool little veteran of Nanduhirian here with its fearsome beard and lots of other good stuff. So who doesn't like seeing that spearman? But let me take a mulligan right away. Did not, once again, get what I was hoping for, but it's not the worst hand I've ever seen. Rittermark's Finest, Unexpected Courage, little bit of card draw, board clear. I guess I'm running Barivore for a reason. So, let's talk about what makes today's scenario unique. Looking at quest card 1A here, it says, "A presence in the dark. You have discovered the fate of the dwarven colony and seek to leave Moria. But exiting may not be as simple as entering," which I don't remember being terribly simple. So the setup is prepare the quest deck. We've got 7 different quest card 2 versions. They're all identical on the 2A side. They're all different on the 2B side, which is cool, having, 8 unique quest cards in this scenario. So that says set them aside, add the Nameless Fear to the staging area, remove all copies of a foe beyond from the encounter deck, then shuffle 1 copy per player back into the encounter deck. So, first things first, let's look at the Nameless Fear. It's unique 50 engagement costs. We're not going to be engaging with it at all. Spoiler alert. XXX for threat, attack, and defense strength. 27 hit points. Traits Flame and Shadow, which is just awesome. It's immune to player card effects. It cannot engage or be engaged. X is the number of victory points in the victory display. As we play through this scenario, if Matthew and I have the poor fortune of completing quest cards, we gain victory points. If we kill some of the most fearsome enemies in the encounter deck, we gain victory points. That means that the Nameless Fear has greater attack, greater defense, and of course, greater threat, which makes questing more difficult. But that last thing isn't necessarily bad. But a foe beyond is this treachery card. When revealed, the last player, like they say, when trying to outrun a Balrog, you only have to be faster than your slowest friend. The last player deals damage equal to the Nameless Fear's attack value to a hero he controls. This effect cannot be cancelled. So if we have 10 victory points, that's 10 damage directly to a hero, and that's pretty much a dead hero. Fortunately, I guess we've got Frodo Baggins here that can work around that a little bit, but a test of will is not going to be able to save us from a foe beyond. So, I guess now that we've covered all of that, let's see. We've got 2 copies of a foe beyond being added to our encounter deck. 2 of them are going to be removed from the game, so I'll just kind of set them aside, out of sight, out of mind. Let's flip to quest card 1B. This is nil quest points. It says, as you leave the 7th level, the air grows thick, and drums begin to roll from the deeps. A man-shaped shadow, yet greater, masses at the end of the hall and begins to head straight for you. When revealed, reveal 1 encounter card per player, add it to the staging area, then we add this quest card to our victory display. It's victory points 2, so our Nameless Fear is going to start the game at a value of 2. I'll go ahead and add a couple tokens to it to represent its power. Let's go ahead and reveal a couple encounter cards, hoping it's nothing too terribly offensive. Encounter card number 1 is going to be a copy of New Devilry. When revealed, if the players are not on stage 1, shuffle the current quest card into the quest deck, then reveal a new quest card, otherwise it gains Surge. So it's going to gain Surge. Quest card 1... encounter card 1, I mean, is another copy of this, so those are both going to be sitting there in the discard pile. Actual encounter card 1 is going to be Fouled Well. So this is a location. When revealed, each player may choose and discard a card at random. If they didn't, it gains Surge. I'm cool with doing a random discard.
Okay.
Okay, so my random discard was Unexpected Courage.
So was mine.
Okay, but I suppose not the end of the world. Something tells me, yeah, we've each still got 2 copies left. So kind of a pain, but I definitely don't want too much threat up against us early on. Encounter card number 2 is going to be Crumbling Ruin. Each player must exhaust a character and discard the top card of his deck if able. If the printed cost of the discarded card is equal to or higher than the remaining HP of the exhausted character, discard the exhausted character. So let me go ahead and take a look at our decks here. Card costs. Okay, so it looks like, Matthew, you've got 6 4-cost cards and 3 5-cost cards. I've got 3 4-cost cards and 3 5-cost cards. So I think we're both going to want to do like a 4 HP character if we can.
I'm going to do Boromir.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's...
And darn it, it's Test of Will.
Sure. I will do Barivore, and I will discard... Oh boy, okay, Hasty Stroke. So we're off to an okay start where we've not lost a hero. So that's Crumbling Ruin gone. Now a Presence in the Dark is going to be added to our victory display. And why don't I shuffle our quest deck, and I'm going to go ahead and put one of these here. And the way that this works is Quest Card 2A reads, as the presence draws near, doubt and fear surround you like a vast shadow. You must find daylight. You must escape from the black pit. While this is the active quest card, we only flip it to side 2B at the beginning of staging. So we don't know which of our 7 cards we've gotten until we've already committed our characters to the quest. So, Matthew, before I absolutely die from talking so much, I guess let's start our first round.
All right.
So resources, draw 1 card. I ended up getting a copy of Sneak Attack, so my board clear is online.
Okay.
But we've each got an exhausted hero, although yours hardly counts. I suppose the only threat threshold we want to avoid is 38. For planning, I could do a Snowborn Scout, which maybe I guess I should do.
Okay.
Just as a chump blocker. But you've also got a Spearman, so maybe I want to hold on to my resources.
Okay.
Yeah, well, no, actually, I'm sorry. Let me pull up our encounter deck really quick because I'm worried about a certain event. Sudden Pitfall. The first player must discard a questing character he controls. Okay, so I've changed my mind. I will pay 1. I will put out a Snowborn Scout. I'll put a progress token on our location. And that is it for me.
Okay. I'm going to pay 2 for the Spearman. So I will... my only questing characters will be heroes at the moment, so could be risky, but there we go.
Yeah, that's fine. Only the first player is really susceptible to stuff. Neither of us have a cancel when revealed. But we can at least do a little bit of questing. For this quest, I believe that the average threat value that we pull, though it's kind of erratic because it's something like a 50% treachery encounter deck, is like 2.4. So we're currently up against a 5 threat, and we don't want to make a lot of quest progress in case we accidentally explore a location. But for committing characters to the quest, I suppose I will send 2 willpower.
That's all I'm going to send.
You're only sending 2.
I guess I could send 4 and ready Boromir if I have to.
Right, may as well. So we're going to be doing a grand total of 6. We're probably going to fail the quest this round, but that's fine. It won't always be the case. So we're sending 6 to the quest. We're up against 5. Encounter card number... Oh, sorry, at the beginning of staging. So let's remember this. I have it written on my hand. So flip it to side 2B at the beginning of staging. Okay, so this is 5 quest points. Heading down, if heading up, is in the player's victory display at the end of any quest phase, shuffle heading up back into the quest deck. It's 5 quest points. Like I said, we can bypass this card at the end of the combat phase. What bypass means is it means we strip all the progress tokens from it, we put it at the bottom of our quest deck, and then we reveal the next, search for an exit, and then during the following rounds, staging, we flip that card. So this is going to be of paramount importance for Matthew and I to remember to not screw this up. And this is a 1 victory point location if we do happen to explore it, which I don't think we're going to. And it's actually kind of a nice little quest point buffer. Some of these do stuff like reveal enemies, so we may not want to get rid of this one too quickly, and 2 of our quest cards have built-in victory conditions. So like I said, a lot going on in this quest, but let's see what we pull for encounter cards. Encounter card number 1 is, thank God, Goblin Archer once again. Nice. 1 point of damage, courtesy of Thalon, means Goblin Archer is slain. It's not going to sit there in the staging area molesting us for an hour, right. Which try to keep my sessions down when I can. Our second card, Shadow of Fear, when revealed, the first player, me, attaches this to one of his heroes, counts as a condition attachment, limit 1 per hero. The hero cannot exhaust or ready, and unfortunately for Dane here, its text box is treated as blank. I can pay 3 resources from the hero's pool to discard this card. I'm tempted to pick Barivore, since she's already got a resource.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and pick Barivore. Page down. Okay, so we're up against 5. We're going to end up making 1 progress. So that wasn't too bad. And next round, we'll have more heroes than we did this one. For travel, I'm all for traveling to the Fouled Well.
Sure.
Sure. All right, so make that active. I guess that's it. Refresh. So,
yeah.
Control R, we've boosted our threat. Matthew, there's your first player token. Now let's do our resources and draw a card. I got the Lore Dwarf. I got the one I was hoping to not see. I drew the wrong card is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
What do you want to do?
I'll pay 1 for Ancient Matham, and that's it.
Okay. So if we manage to clear that location, that would be pretty rad. If not, no big deal. I'm not going to play my Hammersmith yet because I would love... Well... I'm conflicted. I think I want to wait to see if I can bounce that whatever back to your hand. And let me glance at our encounter deck. One of these locations is Plundered Armory. Okay, so I think what I will do, since I'm not drawing cards, I assume you're done, Matthew?
I am.
Okay, so I'll strip 2 resources off of Frodo since I don't have the ability to cancel anything anyway, and I'll drop out the Rittermark's Finest if we're lucky and we get one of our 2 copies of a Plundered Armory. I think there are 2, but this is a really thick encounter deck. I can hopefully help you cheat a Citadel Plate into play, which would be fantastic. But at the moment, I am the last player and you are not. Okay, so I could also do a Campfire Tales, but I think I want to hold on to that. Okay, let's quest. Who do you want to send?
Well, Thalon for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Boromir for sure. That's a total of 3.
Mm-hmm. So enemies really aren't that big of a deal. I want to say there are only 3 enemies in the entire encounter deck that have more than 2 HP.
Yeah. All right, I'll send... Well, but we're not wanting to make a ton of progress because we don't want to clear these things. Although we do have the buffer.
Yeah, I'd love to get rid of that location.
I'll send 2 more.
Okay. And you are now the first player, so you're actually at risk of sudden pitfall. So do you maybe want to quest with your spearman, knowing that in an emergency you can use feint?
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Okay, because there aren't very many enemies.
Okay.
And let me just verify that sudden pitfall is... Yeah, the first player, so we can't just, like, have me get rid of my Snowborn Scout or something.
Right.
So either my Scout could defend or we could use feint. We've certainly got some options. So I will send Frodo. I can't do anything with Barivor yet. So I'll just send 2. And I'll just call it good there. All right. Encounter card number 1 is... wow. Okay. So... Chieftain of the Pit. So he gets +3 attack until the end of the round. He's, man, kind of nasty.
Yeah, he will take a damage at the very least.
Yeah, right. And, I guess you don't have a wizard, but we've got feint, we've got the scout, we've got some options to deal with him. Although, unfortunately... I guess little Boromir by himself isn't going to be enough to finish the job. But anyway, so that is encounter card number 1. Encounter card number...
Oh, we should have decided if we wanted to bypass.
Well...
And we should... Or did we decide at the end of the combat last turn that we weren't doing that?
Yes, yeah. We want to basically just keep it because it's very inoffensive.
Okay.
So I forgot to ask, but I had no intent of bypassing it whatsoever.
Okay.
What is important is note that... If we had a 2A showing, we should have, at the beginning of staging, revealed a new quest card. Okay, so far our game state is intact, so let's call it mistake-free. I'm going to stick with that. Okay, so encounter card number 2 is the first player attaches to one of his heroes, and it cannot exhaust or ready. Oh, I guess I missed that Barivor can't ready, so I'll leave her exhausted here.
Okay.
And its text box is treated as blank, so you're the first player. Who would you put that on? Okay. So poor little Dwalin, but he's probably the most innocent recipient. We're up against 4 threat. You've sent 5 willpower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3 progress. I guess if I wanted, I could use the Rittermark's Finest to clear that location, but I don't think that would be a good use of it. So I suppose let's just keep our location active.
Okay.
Okay, so for engagement, Chieftain of the Pit is going to come down to you unless we do something cute.
I certainly can feint it this turn and deal with it next turn.
Sure. Okay, so it's down to you. It is swinging for 8, but it is feinted, so it gets a shadow card, which isn't going to be revealed. So Chieftain of the Pit is just kind of sitting there doing a whole lot of nothing. And, I guess any actions during combat?
No.
Okay, let's see. If you were to ready Boromir, you could hit it for 1, but that's
Right.
still not quite enough for your spearman to skewer it next turn.
Right.
It is a goblin or orc. I could sneak attack my Longbeard Orc Slayer to deal it a point of damage, but I still feel like that's kind of a crappy use for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, and next turn it's only attacking for 5, so,
Right.
okay, I guess shall we just refresh?
Sure.
Okay, so at the end of combat, let's discard the shadow card. It's kind of a crappy location. Another mildly interesting mechanic is this has locations and enemies that scale where X is equal to the number of players. So lots of X values here. Hope everyone took algebra. So, refresh, I'm going to be once again the first player. We've increased our threat. We do our resources. Barivor and Dwalin both do not ready. I've now got a couple copies of Campfire Tales. I guess you drew a chump blocker, which is good. Oh, should I play either of my Campfire Tales to maybe try to get Steward? I don't think so. Maybe I'll just, let's see. But I would love a cancel when revealed. Maybe I will spend 1 resource to do a single copy of Campfire Tales. And I draw 1 card. I got a Song of Wisdom, which isn't bad. Did you get anything decent?
Nope, Veteran of Nandahirian.
That is kind of trash. And it's only in your deck because it's slim pickings at this point in the card pool, as I'm sure you're well aware. Okay, I guess what are you doing?
I will play the Vassal.
Okay.
And that is it, I suppose.
You could do another Matham, because I would love to draw Test of Will.
Fine.
Thank you so much. And let's see here. Pay to discard that card. I can use my action to do Shadow of Fear at any point, but there's no reason to do it yet. I'll just be sure to do it before the refresh phase, of course. Okay. I guess that's it.
Yep.
For questing, we've still got that same location. I guess I will send Frodo and the Snowborn Scout, since I'm first player. And what are you doing? 3?
Oh, mm-hmm.
Okay. And...
that is all I have.
all right. I'm just trying to think, what is your plan for your Chieftain of the Pit?
Chumping it, I think.
Okay. I guess you could do your Vassal, and then... if you were to do your Spearman, then the Spearman is gone.
Yeah.
I guess Boromir could defend. I do have a cancel shadow effect.
Yeah, his +3 is gone, so that's good.
Yeah. So I guess Boromir could save you an ally. And threat isn't too big of an issue. We've each got threat reduction. Okay, so we've certainly got options. I guess let's just see what we reveal. So there's no quest card to deal with. Let's see, in counter card number 1... whoa. Did I move the Ancient Matham, or you?
I think it does it automatically.
Oh, weird. Okay, anyway, Stray Goblin takes a point of damage. I guess, why don't you just... yeah, there you go. Stray Goblin takes a point of damage. It's a 2/2/2/2. So Thalin wounds it. The Spearman will be able to finish it off. Potentially. Although that might put us in a tricky position for this Chieftain of the Pit. But let's see what else we get. I've got some options. In counter card number 2 is going to be a Goblin Spearman. And now I'll just say I've got my Longbeard Orc Slayer that I could use to deal damage to all the orcs in play. If we were to do that, we've sent 5 to the quest. We'd make 3. I think maybe I want to do that now. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend 1 resource off Dane Ironfoot, Sneak Attack, and I will put Longbeard Orc Slayer into play. When it enters play, it deals 1 damage to each Orc enemy in play, which is going to be each of these. So the Stray Goblin is killed. The Goblin Spearman is killed. The Chieftain of the Pit now is only going to take an attack of 4 to kill, which is basically Boromir plus the Gondorian Spearman or something like that. So Sneak Attack is gone. We've sent 5 to the quest, minus 2, because the Nameless Fear means 3. So 1, 2, 3. We're probably going to want to bypass our quest card this round.
Yeah.
The active location is cleared. Those Ancient Mathoms are going to trigger. So I'm going to draw a total of 6 cards. Wow. Okay, Steward of Gondor, Hinamarth, Unexpected Courage, Gandalf, Unexpected Courage, Test of Will. That is a bit of a money draw right there. So it's a hell of a hand. Let's see. I guess prior to leaving combat, I'll spend 3 resources from Barivor to discard my copy of Shadow of Fear. There's no traveling to be done. Shadow card to your Chieftain of the Pit. And how do you want to deal with its attack?
Your Longbeard Orc Slayer
yes.
is back in your hand.
Right. He bounces back?
I'll just chump with the Vassal.
Okay. So there's the swing. Shadow card is if the defending character is an ally, but I'll spend 1 to do a hasty stroke because I'd prefer you don't lose a hero.
Yeah.
So your vassal is destroyed. Mm-hmm. But now, Boromir readies. You've raised your threat.
Yeah, and I'll swing with Boromir and the Gondorian Spearman.
Cool. So 4 minus 2 is 2. 4 equals 4. Chieftain is killed. It's not a victory point enemy. I think there are 2 in the encounter deck. That shadow card is gone. And now you and I are sitting pretty. At the end of the combat phase, shall we bypass our quest card?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, so here's how that works. We put it at the bottom of the quest deck, face down. We will replace it, but we won't flip that card over yet until staging. So let's try and remember, for staging, we're gonna flip that card. Okay, so refresh. Let's see. Now we'll do our resources and draw a card. So I've now got quite a few wizards. I don't have enough to get my steward out yet, but that'll be different next round. All of a sudden, Barivor can draw cards. I suppose, would you benefit from drawing cards?
Yeah, my hand is pretty cruddy.
Okay. I'll have Barivor draw you cards prior to your finishing planning.
Good grief. Didn't help.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to pay 4 for a veteran, so at least I can quest with an ally.
Okay. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
And it enters play with 1 damage on it, but it's got 4 attack value. But it's not like it's going to get a chance to hit anything too serious in this game. For me, I am going to hang on to my remaining resources. Okay, so committing characters to the quest. We're probably only going to need like 4 willpower. So I'm sending 2. You're sending, I guess we'll make it like 5.
I'm sending 3 at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Grand total of 5 is cool with me.
Okay.
You're first player, but you've got an ally sent to the quest.
Mm-hmm.
I can cancel a treachery if need be. So, encounter card number... Okay, so staging, at the beginning of staging, we've got to flip search for an exit. So, heading up, this is if heading down is in the player's victory display, we shuffle this back into the quest deck, and we can bypass this one if we want. But there's no reason to do that yet. And this doesn't have a win revealed. So,
cool.
Glad that once again we caught that in the nick time. Encounter card number 1 is going to be Dreadful Gap. So this is X equals the number of characters in play. I guess this is going to be sitting here for a while. It's looking like it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 progress required. Damn. But whatever. Encounter card number 2 is going to be Goblin Spearman, which is just trash. We're going to make 1 quest point, which our Dreadful Gap eagerly soaks up. And I guess that's it. Travel, no options. Engagement. Do you want the Spearman?
Sure.
All right. Shadow card. How do you want to deal with it?
I'm going to poke him.
Gondorian Spearman. Deals it a point of damage. It is slain. Shadow card is discarded without being revealed.
Oh, thank goodness.
But it doesn't do anything. I guess let's refresh. You don't have the resources to pay for your Shadow of Fear. But anyways, refresh. I'm the first player. Let's do our resources. Let's draw a card. I got another copy of a Longbeard. Things are looking all right at the moment. I will do 2 resources off of Dane for a Steward of Gondor on, I think, Dane, but let me check my notes. I made these decks about a month ago, so let's see. No, Steward of Gondor is best on Frodo. So let me change my mind, and I'll go ahead and drop that on Frodo. I will use the Steward right away, and then I could do some unexpected courage type stuff. Let's see. I guess I could drop that on... Oh, you don't have Gimli. That's interesting. I could do it on Thalin or Barivor.
Yeah, let's say Barivor. In the short term.
Sure. Yeah, I'll go ahead and page that down. I will have Barivor draw... I'm trying to think if there's really anything else we want to get in your deck. I think I am going to have my... I'm not going to make myself draw anything yet because Dark and Dreadful is in this encounter deck. Well, I'm going to be questing with her, so I will draw a couple cards. Ancient Matham and Galadrim's Greeting. I will ready Barivor. I will not do Ancient Matham yet. I will do 2 resources off of Barivor for Erebor Hammersmith, and I'll return your topmost attachment to your hand, which should be an Ancient Matham, I think.
Yep.
Okay. And I'll take that over... I guess for me, I could do Unexpected Courage, but I'm not too concerned about that. Okay, that's all I'm going to do.
Okay.
And how about you?
I'm going to pay 2 for a Rittermark's Finest.
Okay, cool. Anything else?
That is it.
All right. So for committing characters to the quest, we've certainly got a huge buffer, so I'm not too concerned about that. Again, Matthew and I made these silent, but in my opinion, correct choice not to bypass heading up. So committing characters to the quest, we can commit a fair few. I'm the first player, so I'll do these. So I'm going to do 4.
Okay, I'll do 3.
Okay, grand total of 3. All right, sounds good. Encounter card number 1 is Dark and Dreadful. Dreadful Gap is not a dark location, so this would be 1 damage, which would only kill my Snowborn Scout. So I'm fine with that resolving.
Okay.
Let's see, to each exhausted character. So the Scout will die. Frodo takes a damage. The Hammersmith takes a damage. I wonder if I should gain a... No, I'm not... Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, so Dark and Dreadful, that's gone. There's only 1 more copy. Encounter card number 2 is Chance Encounter. Put the top enemy in the encounter discard pile into play, engaged with the first player. So it says put into play, not when revealed. Okay, so the top enemy in the discard pile with the first player. It is a Goblin Spearman. And... Yeah, so it did put an enemy into play. It does not gain Surge, and that is the card. So that's it. We were up against 2 threat. We've sent 7. That makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 progress, which we've still not cleared this location. Just at a glance, it's got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 progress tokens required. No additional victory points here for the Nameless Fear. So for travel, there are no options. For combat, the Spearman does get a shadow card. For defending, I suppose I'll just use Dane. So let's see. Dane defends. No shadow effect. So the Spearman deals him no damage. Barivore and Rittermark's Finest will swing together. They'll deal just 1 point of damage to the Goblin Spearman. But I suppose I'm just good with that. So,
cool.
Okay. End of combat. That card is discarded. We could, if we want, bypass our quest phase. One of these quest cards helps us put the abandoned tools into play.
Right. We might as well, I suppose, because that's ultimately our end game.
Yeah, and we do have this nice buffer. So maybe we could just keep cycling through quest cards until we...
I mean, and this location, when we do clear it, has 3 victory points. Right. So that's going to boost the Nameless Fear quite a bit.
You know, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so we kind of need to move a little more quickly here.
Yeah, or... Yeah, I see what you mean. In an alternative style of winning, move a little bit more quickly. Okay, so I will go ahead and bypass this. So bottom of the quest deck, we'll replace it. So let's remember during staging to do our search for an exit. And then I'll turn off the animation because it makes seamless editing easier. Okay, so refresh. Let's do Control R. Poor Dwalin still can't catch a break. But you are now the first player. Let's all do our resources. I'll trigger my Steward. We'll each draw a card. I got a useless copy of Steward. What do you want to do?
Nothing.
Okay. Let me see. I think I want to have Barivore draw myself a couple of cards just because I want my Test of Wills. I've got another Dwarf. I've got all of my Gandalf. I've still got 2 sneak attacks in my deck somewhere. I could do Hinemarth, which in a single-player game, one of our victory conditions, Hinemarth is great for scrying the top of the encounter deck and seeing if you're going to automatically lose or not. Once we do explore Dreadful Gap, your Citadel plates are going to be critical, but it would be lovely if we could reveal 1 or more copies of our Plundered Armories from the encounter deck. And the encounter deck is whittling itself down relatively quickly. So far as playing cards, neither of us is at a really high threat value. Would Unexpected Courage be very beneficial at the moment? I don't think it would.
I don't think so.
I don't think there are Goblin Scouts in the encounter deck. So I don't think I want to decrease anyone's threat. Maybe I'll just hang on to resources for our wizard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just not... actually, that's not true. I'll do 1 for a Campfire Tales. Okay, I ended up getting another Record Keeper, which is pretty stellar.
Okay.
And now I'm done. Okay, so committing characters to the quest. Who do you want to send?
Same people. I'll send 3.
Okay, you're sending 3. We've only got 2 that we're up against. Maybe I'll only send... So I'm not the first player. Maybe I'll only send 2.
Okay.
Or maybe I'll send Frodo. I'll send Frodo as well.
Okay.
So I'm sending 4. I guess if necessary, we can play more allies to, you know. Okay. Encounter card.
Well, before that, we have to flip our thing.
Thank you. I was going to remember, I promise. Okay. Let's flip Search for an Exit. Okay, so this is
Yay.
one of our potential victory conditions. So this is interesting. When revealed, the first player chooses one of the following. So this is you, Matthew. Each player discards a card from the top of the encounter deck. If that card is a treachery card, the discarding player is eliminated from the game. And this is about 50% treacheries. So, not to tip your hand, but I would not pick that one. And then your other option is we reveal the next quest card, putting Blocked by Shadow on the bottom of the quest deck.
Let's just reveal the next one, I guess.
Sure. But if we were to acquire the 9 progress tokens required here, we would escape and win the game. The problem is that there are treachery cards which make you change the current quest card. So it would suck if I got eliminated and then we had to change the quest card. So let's go ahead and essentially do the same as bypassing that. We put it at the bottom of the quest deck. And that did say to... reveal the next quest card, I believe. Okay, so I can't check in our chat log, but because I've got Octagon open, I will just check there. So the quest deck is going to say, okay, Blocked by Shadow reveals the next quest card.
Mm-hmm.
But I would imagine we don't flip it over, right? We just...
Well, it has to be the active quest card, because we have to be able to put progress on something. You can't have a non-active quest card.
Well, I guess so. It's quest phase 2A. While it's the active quest card, we only flip it to side 2B at the beginning of staging.
Which is where we're at right now.
I guess, yeah, technically. Yeah, so...
I mean, we haven't begun staging, so we're still at the beginning.
Yeah, let me pause for just a sec and do a bit of research, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. Okay, so after a little bit of a research break, our results are inconclusive. But what Matthew and I are going to agree to do is, because there's not really any time in this game where you ever have the A side of a quest card active, we're going to assume that reveal means we reveal the next card. You only flip this to side 2B at the beginning of the staging step, but instead of like the staging step has begun and it's already done, it's like this new effect is still reacting to the same triggering condition that has not closed. So we'll say there's like a response loop still open. So Blocked by Shadow is gone, and now we're going to flip our newly active quest card to 2B, considering it still being the beginning of the staging step. So, this is Hasty Counsel. This says, when revealed, shuffle all copies of A Foe Beyond from the encounter discard pile back into the encounter deck. We haven't seen any yet, so we just skip that step. Reveal the top 2 cards of the quest deck. Choose one to become the active quest, flip to side 2B, and put the other on the bottom of the quest deck. Then add Hasty Counsel to your victory display. And this actually helps me feel a little bit more comfortable about what Matthew and I decided to do, because if you just saw 2 identical quest card 2As, like, you're not making an informed decision. So I think this kind of lends credence to the course of action that Matthew and I chose. But if you think otherwise, let us know in the comments. One of the issues with LOTR being one of the original LCGs and being a 6-year-old game or so is that the language of these cards is not the clearest at times. So I guess Matthew and I are going to basically just make an agreement, like agree on which card to pick. So, here are our options. 1 is a wrong turn, which is reveal 1 encounter card per player, add it to the staging area. That one isn't looking great because it's 1 quest point too. It's a dangerous part of the mines, no kidding. This next one is Narrow Paths, which is what we were looking for. 3 quest points, but when revealed, each player chooses a questing character to remove, not count its willpower until the end of the turn. Forced, after placing 1 progress token on Narrow Paths, search the encounter deck and discard pile for abandoned tools and add it to the staging area, if able. I vote that we travel to Narrow Paths.
I agree.
Okay, so this says choose one to become the active quest, flip to side 2B, put the other on the bottom of the quest deck. So wrong turn goes to the bottom, Narrow Paths is going to be the active, and then add Hasty Counsel to the victory display. So we've now got 4 victory points, which means the Nameless Fear has 4 threat. We've each got to... let's see, did it use the language reveal? I believe it did. Reveal the next quest card. Blocked by shadow specified that. So we each pick a questing character to drop its willpower to 0. I guess I'll pick my Erebor Hammersmith. And then do you want to pick your Rittermark's Finest?
Yep, I already did.
Okay, so now we've only got 4 willpower committed to the quest. The Nameless Fear itself has 4 willpower. It looks like we're not going to be putting a token on Narrow Paths anytime soon. And now we want to do that before we have to get rid of our current quest card. So that was an incredibly long beginning of staging, but we still have to reveal some cards. So encounter card number 1 is Abandoned Tools.
Go figure.
Which is guarded, and man, I guess I'm glad to see that. Hey, and wouldn't you know it, Plundered Armory is guarding it. So Abandoned Tools is exhaust a hero to claim the objective if it has no encounters attached. Then attach Abandoned Tools to that hero. But there's another quest card we're looking for that has... it grants like text basically to the Abandoned Tools. Plundered Armory is our in the staging area. It increases enemy attack values such as the Nameless Fear, which is immune to player card effects, not card effects. After it leaves play, each player can attach a weapon or armor attachment from hand to a character, which is cool because Citadel Plate is armor. All right, encounter card number 2 is going to be a Goblin Spearman. So it takes a point of damage, courtesy of Thalon. We're going to be up against some threat, but before that happens, I'll use my Rittermark's Finest, exhaust it, sacrifice it.
Woohoo.
2 points on Plundered Armory, which is explored. Abandoned Tools is now free of attachments. Each of us can pick a weapon or armor attachment.
Okay. I'm going to put Citadel Plate on Boromir.
It's a fine choice. I do not have anything eligible because we're playing with the Khazad-dûm card pool. But I want to say that is the first time I've ever gotten anything from my Plundered Armory, so that is pretty rad.
Super fun.
Yeah, so we're up against 6 threat. We've sent 4. We're going to gain 2 threat each. Is that, like 3? No. I'm thinking back to our other video. This is, anyway, one of these times that we've quested unsuccessfully. Doesn't happen too often. Don't get used to it, viewers. All right. Travel, nothing. Engagement. What do we want to do?
Well, one of these is going to die from Gondorian Spearmen. I can defend the other one.
And so can I. Neither of us has Hasty Stroke, but we're also probably not going to be defending with allies, so that's not a big deal. So why don't we do it like...
So tell you what, I'm going to play... Oh, wrong card. I'm going to pay 1 for Quick Strike, and Boromir will Quick Strike my guy and kill him.
Okay. Sure.
Because that's fun and exciting.
Yeah, I guess so. It's
and
okay.
Gondorian Spearman can take care of yours.
All right. Well, let's see. You're the first player, so let me do shadow cards real quick.
Yep.
Your Spearman is killed. And, damn. Plundered Armory is the shadow card. It's now gone.
And then I will spearman yours.
Right. So it takes a point of damage. It's going to be killed. Shadow card would have been attacking enemy, gets +1 attack. But we don't have to worry about that. So it is gone. All of our enemies are now gone.
I'm going to ready Boromir for 1, and I will exhaust him to take control of abandoned tools.
Okay.
Oh, well, no, I guess you have ready heroes. Maybe I don't need to do that.
No, you want to do it.
No, he's the good one for it, isn't he?
Spoilers. Yeah. But yes, and now
okay.
I understand Quick Strike makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, at the end of the combat phase, we can bypass this one. And we want to, because we need the one that we can get out of.
Yes, that is correct. Yes, so let's bypass it. I was just pausing because we don't bypass it instantly. I mean, like, we don't reveal the next card instantly.
Right, exactly.
But yes, and now we definitely want to get rid of our active location because we need to get rid of an active location so that Boromir can do his abandoned tools trick, as I'm sure we're eventually going to see sooner rather than later because we are hauling ass through this encounter deck. So we need to start questing really hard, which fortunately we're quite capable of doing. Okay, so refresh phase. Refresh. I'll grab the first player token. I will draw 1 card. I'll do my resources and my Steward of Gondor. I am the first player, so I will do...
Do we need to go ahead and put out the new quest card but not reveal it?
We can, yeah. I've been doing that. I don't know why I didn't this time. Yeah,
cool.
So it's out there. For me, I don't... Well, yeah, I've got a Test of Will, but I want more Test of Will. I'm going to have myself draw another couple cards. I did get another copy of Test of Will, which is superb. I will do 1 resource off of Dane Ironfoot for a Song of Wisdom, and hobbits are fond of singing, so I'll let Frodo take up the tale. I'm not clever enough, so I'll do 2 resources off of Frodo for a pair of Erebor Record Keeper. And is there much use? I guess I could do an Unexpected Courage. I don't know if that's terribly useful. I could also do a copy of Gandalf just to ensure that we're able to clear this location.
I could do that as well, and then I can lower my threat a little bit.
Yeah, I'll let you do it.
Okay.
Because any ally that we play has to have more than 1 willpower, otherwise it's just breaking even. All right. So I will do 1 resource for Ancient Matham on our active location, and I'll call it good there.
Okay. I will pay 5 for Gandalf.
Enough! I am Gandalf, and Gandalf means me!
All right.
And I will lower my threat by 5.
Beautiful. So, Boromir's done a lot of work for you, and it looks like it's as if he was completely silent the entire time, which is how I prefer my Gondorian men.
All right.
So, anyways, anything else from you, Matthew?
I could play a few things. I could get rid of Dwalin's thingamabomb, but yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, no reason to make that choice quite yet, I guess.
Right.
Okay, neither of us is at risk of threading out. Already Barivore prior to staging. So who are you sending to the quest?
I could do 8.
Okay. And for your Rittermark's Finest, let me check how many copies. Yep, there are only 2 of Plundered Armory, so you may as well commit it to the quest.
Yeah. And I'd rather get rid of him if... Oh, I'm not first player, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Right.
But, yeah.
Right. But Yeah, I guess let's just commit a ton because I want to get rid of this stupid location. Okay, so... well, let's just see what happens. Dreadful Gap is likely going to be explored, but let's just reveal some cards. And before we commit characters to the quest, while Search for an Exit is the active quest card... Oh, it's at the beginning of staging. Never mind.
Yes.
Again, I guess I didn't screw up quite yet.
No, not yet.
Okay, but still, plenty of time. So let's go ahead and flip Search for an Exit, and you're the last player, so if we get a foe beyond, Boromir can soak up some damage. Hey, here we go. So this is what I was hoping for. And I've got 2 Test of Will. This is perfect. So, escape from darkness. There is a weakness in the walls. You can practically taste the freedom beyond. Because, man, this has been such a tense quest. Woo, there was so much risk of not getting out of here. 4 quest points. There is a weakness in the walls. Yeah, like I read. Abandoned Tools gains refresh action. Exhaust attached hero to put a progress token on escape from darkness. Players can bypass this quest card at the end of the combat phase. Progress tokens cannot be placed on this quest card except by abandoned tools. So when I was first designing a pair of decks, I was like, oh, let me use Erebor Record Keepers and have both players use Unexpected Courage, and you can get like one dwarf to have a bunch of actions. Or you can just play Boromir and he can ready himself. But we've found our ideal quest card. We've sent a bunch of characters to the quest. So, Matthew, what is going to stand between us and potential victory? Encounter card number 1 is the Goblin Spearman. My God.
All right.
Encounter card 2 is a foe
I sort of figured.
beyond. I was hoping for something semi-exciting to happen. But there were plenty of treachery cards that are, shuffle the current quest card. Plenty of treachery cards that are get rid of the current quest card, which would have dashed Matthew and I having any hope of winning today in a timely manner. The last player, Matthew, deals damage equal to the Nameless Fear's attack value to a hero he controls, which is 4. This effect cannot be cancelled. Who would you like to take 4 points of damage?
Well, luckily we got the free Citadel plate.
Which kind of actually didn't end up making any difference. But it could have.
True, Boromir could have survived either way, but still, a little more fun.
In a post-Dreadful Gap explored world. Anyways, so a foe beyond is gone. We're going to be up against 6 threat, and what have we sent? I've done 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 myself. And you?
I did 8.
Okay, grand total of 18. Minus 6 is 12. So that brings our active location to 18. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. You've got, bring the total to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're going to explore that location. We'll make 5 surplus, which vanishes into the mist because of the stipulation here. Dreadful Gap is added to the victory display. So our Nameless Fear is now sitting at 7 attacks, 7 threat, 7 defense, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Ancient Matham is gone. So I choose to draw a trio of cards, which I drew some garbage, but that is fine. For engagement, do you want the Spearman?
Sure, does not matter.
Yeah, not at all. It gets a shadow card. All right, so your Spearman deals this Spearman 1 point of damage. It dies. The shadow card, which is gone, would have given it +2 attack. This is a revealed additional enemies card. Always makes me think of Massing at Osgiliath. Kind of cool art there. I guess I've never really thought of it before, but maybe those are like goblin shadows on the walls. If anybody's watching this video versus the audio version. But anyways, that is gone. That ends combat. We will not bypass the active quest. Refresh. We switch players. Prior to resource, there's a refresh action.
I'm going to pay 3 to lower my threat by 6.
Okay. You know what? I think I will pay 3, and I will also lower your threat by 6.
Score matters, kids.
It sure does.
All right, and then Boromir is going to exhaust and ready 4 times.
All right. So, exhausting and readying 4 consecutive times means that Matthew gains 4 threats, and he puts 1, 2, 3, 4 progress tokens on Escape from Darkness. We've got 4 quest points out of our required 4 quest points. If the players defeat this stage, they escape and win the game. Matthew, by golly, we've done it. We've managed to flee from a 7 victory point Nameless Fear. What do you think, my friend? We've flown from Moria.
Yeah. Well, our deluxe expansion here comes to a close with this quest. I have to say that, we had, our heroes getting the Shadow of Fear was kind of, relatively early on was certainly a nuisance. I've not played this one a ton, so I really didn't remember what was coming. Like almost every card that was new to this quest and not seen in the previous 2 was a surprise for me. I didn't really remember how the quest deck worked, but I did remember the abandoned tools. I feel like pretty much everybody uses the Boromir cheat for this quest. But certainly it's a decent thematic win in that, this was like the bottom card of the quest deck, or at least if it wasn't the 7th, it was near there. Right? And so we had to dig quite a bit to find this one. Luckily, we got to the tools before we got to this one, and we didn't have to cycle through it again or something. So, I think it was a fairly decent run at this quest. I didn't think it was horrible. The Nameless Fear just sort of sits there. In future quests, we get to deal with him in more interesting ways. But I think it's certainly better than the 7th level. But as a whole, I would say that the 3 quests of this box are not the strongest quests in the game. But what did you maybe think of this quest in particular, or the box as a whole?
Well, I guess speaking to this quest, it's certainly a step up in complexity, because it's been a little while since I've played through this one. It's like, okay, let me explain the X equals whatever victory point thing. Let me explain the quest deck. Let me explain the abandoned tools. Let me explain a foe beyond and all this other stuff. So this would maybe be one to, maybe you don't want to teach someone how to play the game with a nightmare of a lot going on like this one is. But once you kind of get the grip for when you can bypass, when you flip quest cards and all that stuff, it is a little interesting, and it does have some replayability. What I think this kind of falls victim to is a lot of these early scenarios kind of don't so much pose a challenge to the players as they do you run the risk of playing an extremely long game. Yeah. Like in a normal game, without cheesing Boromir's ability, without using Erebor Record Keepers and Grim Resolve or Unexpected Courage, let's say we've gone through 3 rounds, we're at 3 out of 4 abandoned tools conferred progress tokens, and then we reveal new devilry. So it's like, surprise, shuffle your current quest card back into the quest deck, and then you maybe end up threading out just because you've gone through the quest deck multiple times. It kind of makes me think of where Gollum escapes goes from like, he's discarded as a shadow card or something like that, where it's not hard, it's just like an endurance test, testing the player's patience. So it's certainly a cool scenario. Everybody was looking forward to their first opportunity to confront the Balrog. We got it in the form of the Nameless Fear. What was especially odd is that when FFG was first introducing all of this stuff, they basically said, okay, Khazad-dûm, the deluxe expansion, you go into Moria and you flee from the Balrog. Oh, and then, hey, in the Dwarodelf upcoming cycle of adventure packs, you also go into Moria and maybe confront the Balrog. So it's like this is a weird teaser for the cycle that's coming next, but the cycle tells the same tale sort of differently.
Yeah, so there is a fun little teaser on one of the quest cards that we'll have to be sure to point out and keep you in suspense if you don't know what I mean.
Right. So, but there's lots to look forward to. This is by no means the one and only time that we confront the Balrog players got a taste of what's yet to come here, and certainly we are spoiled down the road with the big boss battle everyone was hoping for. But I can't think of too much else to say. Khazad-dûm was fine for a deluxe expansion. It certainly takes the game in a whole new direction. At this point, I think Lucas Litzinger had joined the design team. He did cards like the Sigil Miner and whatnot, and it's certainly a hell of a more complex experience than the core set. Gave the players a tantalizing glimpse of just some of the cool stuff that you can do with what at first seems like a relatively simple system. But I think I've spoken enough. Couple videos in one day, not too bad. I think it's time I give my voice a rest. Matthew, any final thoughts? If not, plug your podcast and let's get out of here.
No, all I'll say is, again, I've said it in a few videos, but it's a treat to go back and replay these old quests. With my gaming time significantly limited over what it was, 5-6 years ago when the game came out, I don't often replay the old quests because they're just far too easy. With the modern card pool. Not that they weren't easy here with even the card pool at the time,
right.
But it is nice to revisit them. And again, a lot of these cards I don't remember. And we even got to see some player cards we don't use very often, like Durin Song was kind of fun. It was fun to put Veteran of Nanduhirian on the table, even though he didn't do anything. His art's kind of fun and those kinds of things.
He quested for one, Matthew.
He did. Okay. I don't want to sell him short. No pun intended for the dwarf there. But, it's always fun to go back to this cycle, because I do think that after the first cycle, this is where the game really started to get a little more interesting, as you were saying, a little more involved, a little more complex. We could really see sparks of ingenuity and creativity in the quests. Not that the first cycle didn't have it, but it was stretching it into new territory here. So I'm really looking forward to the quests of the upcoming cycle, because there's a lot of player favorites in that one. So those will be fun to revisit. With that said, I certainly would be honored if you would check out my podcast. I am on the Great Company Podcast, where you can join my hosts, Dan, Derek, Ian, and of course myself, for an in-depth look at the Lord of the Rings LCG, where we focus on strategy, deck building, and the metagame. We are the Great Company Podcast.
Definitely give them a listen. If you want to get in touch with me, I'm the Hive Tyrant on Twitter and Facebook. If you'd like to support the ongoing Lord of the Rings, the card game progression series, I would be delighted if you were to check out my Patreon page as well. But we've finished Khazad-dûm. Next up is going to be the Dwaro-Delph cycle proper, and it all kicks off with our player card review of the Red Horn Gate. We get to take a look at the secrecy mechanic, which Matthew and I hold very dear to our hearts. So Look forward to that. Be sure to tune in again soon for many more adventures together to come. And until then, have a good one.